Well, I've always lived in cities, whether it's here in London, up in Manchester when I was at university, or over in Australia in Sydney. For me, particularly living in London, I see London as a collection of villages, that's morphed into one big city. And through the lockdown, what I found amazing is that near where I live in North London, Hampstead, it was actually reasonably open. The fishmongers was open, the butchers were open, the local bakery was open. So I think that urban living is being part of that community, and the community is both the larger one, which is the whole city, but also your local community, which I really love, whether it's your local pub or again the local butcher, which I frequented a lot through the lockdown. That's what I see as urban living. I think fitness, health, and well-being is massive. So I think you'll have a lot more people walking, cycling, running to work. I think that local community feeling, having everything you need in that local space, will be important. There was a wave about 15, 20 years ago where it was express supermarkets or big hypermarkets slightly out of town. Whereas actually, what I think is you're going to have the local florist, the butcher, the baker, maybe a candlestick maker, but also that importance of that local pub being very personal, and all those other services. So I think that's where I see it changing, and something that now being almost 40, I've seen the transition over the last 30 years for sure of how London has changed and evolved. And I think that will actually draw people into areas like here, which for many years were focused around corporate, but now are actually rebuilding that sort of local feeling. Yeah, I think people will choose more wisely when to travel as opposed to not traveling at all. As humans, we haven't evolved in 3.5 months not to need human contact. And I have found, having gone back into the office, you can do things quicker when you're collaborating in person as opposed to via something like Zoom. But what I think is that corporates will probably stay a little longer. They will choose more wisely, so probably less trips. I think apartments are in a really good position for that because, again, if they have to work from their apartment and go for occasional meetings, then apartments may work slightly better than some hotel spaces. But I think people will still travel, and I know from one of our main markets in the States, people are still keen to come and meet, and hopefully meeting you today has seen it's a lot easier than doing it via the phone.